Good morning, everybody. Honorable Law Minister Shri Arjun Ramji Meghwal, my Lord Honorable Shri Justice Devendra Kumar Upadhyay, Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, Honorable Shri Justice Manindra Mohan Srivastav, Chief Justice High Court of Rajasthan, Honorable Shri Justice Gurmut Singh Sanwalia, Chief Justice of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Dr. Rajiv Mani, Law Secretary, the Honorable Chief Justices and Judges of the various High Courts across the country, members of the legal fraternity, the police officers which I see are present in quite a number, the academia, more particularly the law students, and ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to be here and greatly privileged to be present amongst this august gathering this morning. I think we are holding this conference on the eve of a watershed movement in the legal field when the three acts replacing the Indian Penal Code, the Code of Criminal Procedure, and the Indian Evidence Act would come into force tomorrow, that is 1st of July 2024. This is a significant development which would define the course of the administration of justice and the dispensation of justice, both in civil and criminal matters in the years to come. Although the new acts replacing the Indian Penal Code and the Code of Criminal Procedure would govern the criminal trials, the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, which replaces the Indian Evidence Act, would evidently apply to civil disputes as well. Law is often seen as an organic being which develops and adapts itself to the changing circumstances. Perhaps this is the reason why it is said that law has to be read, interpreted and enforced in its true letter and spirit. The three acts which are sought to be replaced are, it is now widely accepted, are considered to be a legacy of the colonial times. I think that broadly, in my opinion, the three objectives of framing the new acts is first to bring the law in pace with the changed societal values. After the three acts were framed more than a century ago, there is a lot of change of the societal values which needed, and the law needed to keep pace with it. The second reason, in my opinion, is to bring the law in pace with the technological advances. This is important both from the substantive laws as well as the procedural ones, because substantively also the nature of the offenses under the Information Technology Act, as all of us are aware, has now undergone a sea change. On the procedural aspect, I find that the technological advances on video conferencing and hybrid hearings and paperless courts have also given rise to opportunities to use these technologies in order to further the cause of justice. That is, and the third reason, in my opinion, is that we need to obliterate the legacy of the colonial times, as the mindset at that time was to rule and not to govern. So basically the present laws would aim to govern the society rather than rule it. I do not think it necessary to go into the actual changes brought about, which would be discussed threadbare in the technical sessions during the course of the day. Law as we are aware, is seen both as an instrument of governance and social change. In the last decade, law had to keep pace with rapid social changes as well as technological developments, as I have mentioned. One of the aspects which I could notice in my tenure as a judge of the Bombay High Court and before that as a member of the district judiciary is that although the basic nature of the offences has remained the same, the degree of heinousness and the depravity has increased over the period. For example, take a case of an offence of a murder. Of late, we have seen that the kind of depravity where the dead body is cut into pieces or the parts are burnt into a tandoor. So this is the kind of depravity which the law is supposed to deal nowadays, although the basic offence remains the same. The same thing is seen with the offences involving sexual exploitation of the women, where the murder of the victim is accompanied with, where the sexual exploitation of the victim is accompanied with murder. There are other offences against women of stalking and the like, which are also on the rise. And the cursory glance which I could have over the three acts, the new acts replacing the Indian Penal Code take cognizance of all these developments. There are more serious offences, for example, the cases of terrorism which are dealt with by legislation such as the Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Act and cases of organized crime. So from time to time when the law required to keep with these developments and the nature of the offences, new acts were in fact brought into force. But now the act which is going to replace the Indian Penal Code takes a comprehensive look of all these offences and accordingly the provisions are made. Incorporation of the offence of an organized crime in the act is also an attempt to consolidate the law. Coming to the use of the technology, I find that the permission for the examination of witnesses to appear and evidence being recorded virtually is also an attempt to bring the procedural law in tune with the technological changes. When I went through the provisions of this act cursorily, so far as the administration of the criminal justice system is concerned, earlier we were overwhelmed by what is called as criminology, where the emphasis was on the rights of the criminals. For instance, the criminal law provided that the accused has a right to keep silence. There is a presumption of innocence. So all these aspects and the burden of proof on the prosecution beyond reasonable doubt. So the law was overwhelmingly seen to be in favor of the accused, and the victim, after he lodged the complaint or the FIR, had little role to play in the investigation as well as the trial, except remaining present at the time of the trial giving evidence. This aspect was noticed and certain changes were brought about by introduction, as you are aware of section 2WA in the criminal procedure code, in the Indian Penal Code, where a victim was defined, and for the first time separate rights were conferred on the victim to even challenge the acquittals of the accused. I think these aspects, which were time to time included in the procedural as well as the substantive law, has also been taken care of in the new acts, which are comprehensive in nature. To sum up, I think there is a need to look positively to the enforcement of this act, because as is our experience, the only thing constant in our life is a change. So change is the only thing which is constant. So every change, and which is for the betterment of the society has to be looked into in a positive manner and accepted. I am reminded of a debate in the Parliament, sir, when the GST was introduced for the first time. And it was mentioned that even if you go to purchase new spectacles, the ophthalmologist prescribes the lenses after examination of your eyesight. Still then it was mentioned that it takes about 2-3 days to get adjusted to the new specs. So this is true about everything. If the new acts have come into force, they have to be given time to settle down. We will be having different interpretations of these statutes by the courts, and whenever necessary, some adjustment can be also be made depending upon the circumstances. But the basic need is about the mindset to look into these acts in a positive manner and to see that they are effective. I am happy that the today's gathering, apart from the law enforcing agencies, has also the law students present here. I think they will be more influenced by these acts, both in their personal as well as professional life. And these acts really are for their future. So at the end, I would only say that let us wish best luck on behalf of all of us to the enforcement of the new regime. I came across one Sankalan app, which is launched by the NCRB, which gives the comparative provisions of the new acts as well as the new acts, or the old acts as well as the new acts, and that would also be very helpful to all the stakeholders. On this occasion, I express my gratitude to the organizers of giving me this opportunity of expressing my views. Thank you.